Welcome back. If you're just joining the conversation this morning, we're talking about INEC and, the credibility test, looking into 2027 and trying to see what's going to be different, in the 2027 elections. Now, you see, the credibility of Nigeria's elections remains a burning issue. Former President Goodluck Jonathan has reminded us that only proper transparent polls can give citizens the power to remove underperforming leaders. But with that controversy, right, that we saw in 2023 elections, ranging from ghost voters to delayed results, judicial disputes, I think some of those issues are still in court. Right? Now, with all of these things, many Nigerians are asking, if INEC, right, can INEC really rise to the challenge of 2027? So this morning, right, we want to put that question forward. What must change for our elections to be trusted? And how can INEC regain public confidence? Right? I have a guest alongside my co-anchor who's going to dissect this with me. So I have Tunji Abdul Hamid Esquire. He's a legal practitioner and a public affairs commentator. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for being here. All right. So I'm glad you're a public affairs commentator because we have to really talk about this. Since it's 7 is tomorrow, I don't know if we're looking at it like it's too far. It's really not far. So now former president rather, Jonathan, he said that proper elections would allow voters, right, to vote out underperforming leaders. From your perspective, sir, as someone in the legal space, how far has Nigeria really come in achieving that? Did you hear me, sir?
Yeah, we still have a long way to go in that regard, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
Yes, I said we still have a long way to go as regards that particular aspect. We have a long way to go in the sense that we don't, as it is today, the people at the aim of affair have been influenced. When I say aim of affair here, I'm talking about the INEC authority, I'm talking about the presidency, judiciary, National Assembly. There are a lot of influence on those who control these electoral activities. The way and manner those who are appointed is also a factor in that regard. We have people who are loyal to a particular party or to a particular individual being made members of the INEC who are to conduct election, contrary to what the law says. The law is clear as to who to be appointed as an INEC chairman or a rep member. Section 153 and Section 154 of the Constitution is very clear in that regard. But what do we see in our society here? We see a situation whereby even people who are card-carrying member of a party who are loyalists or supporter of a political party will be made members of the INEC or INEC representative or whatever. Some of them were even we have held a position in that government. They will tell us he has resigned, so he's no longer a card-carrying member, so therefore he's qualified. How can somebody who has been a member of a party will not be partial? How will it not be? How can somebody who have sympathy for somebody or who have a sympathy for a particular person will not be? And again, even where we have people with integrity in position of authority, our system does not allow that person to exercise his power. Because we have a situation whereby the Nigerian system will see the president who makes that appointment as the alpha and omega. And whatever he appoints me, I must be loyal to him rather than the loyalty to the country.
Yeah.
So what we see in this country is loyalty to the president, not loyalty to the That's why you see members of the National Assembly who are supposed to hold people to account singing our mandate at the National Assembly rather than sing the national anthem or even the refrain from that aspect. So what I'm saying is that the confidence in our system, in our electoral system, will only be restored if we have people who can hold their own, who can stand on their ground and say, look, I have a name to protect. But it appears in Nigeria, once they get the appointment, even people who seem that to have that kind of integrity, once they are given that appointment, they become something else. They dance to the tune of those in authority, and they change suddenly. Maybe probably they are being influenced, probably they are being threatened, probably they are something. I don't know. But I see and that's why I'm worried that no matter anyone you want to put, no matter how honest you think that person is, once you get into that appointment or into that field, something has changed. When the governors who are, because I'm talking about even when we talk about appointment now, because people are suggesting that we should take away the power of appointment of an INEC chairman or INEC member from the president and give it to other people.
I agree.
I'm saying that I'm saying that people are saying so.
Yeah.
I don't believe that even that will also solve the problem. That may not solve it. You know why? We have governors who are elected, who are not appointed by the governors, by the president. They put their loyalty on the president, and they tend to agree to do whatever the president want them to do, whether in line with law. We have members of the National Assembly who are not appointed by the president. But whenever the president decides anything from them, they say they must give it to him because he's the president. So what will now happen? So that's why I say I have my worry whether or not we can even go out of this problem. We don't have a system that checks people. We don't have a system that works. Because people complain about our law too, that we need to rejig our law. Yes, I agree that we need to change a certain part of the law to make them more clearer. But the problem is not about the law itself. It's about the people entrusted to enforce the law. People given the responsibility to apply the law. And that's what you see in the last election. The law is clear. The law gave INEC the power to make guidelines and regulations. And INEC made those guidelines and regulations. And in the middle of the game, INEC changed. The guy did not follow his guideline. And that was confirmed by the Supreme Court to say they have the right to change, which for me, I disagree. When a guideline that is made in line with the Constitution, that is what we call, if you're a student of government, in secondary school, even if you're not a lawyer, you know what we call delegated legislation, our subsidiary legislation. A guideline that is made by INEC in line with the provision of the Constitution itself a law, and it must be binding. So, but the Supreme Court said no, they have the right to whether follow or not to follow. So who am I to say no now? They will follow that. So that is the way we have the problem. The problem is an enforcement and implementation of our law. Those areas are also have to be looked into. Except we have those areas covered, we may not be able to get anything right. It may discourage more people from participating. But me, I don't encourage people to be discouraged because the politicians, they love it when people stay away from the system. That will give them the opportunity to do whatever they want to do. They were able to perpetrate whatever they are perpetrating today because few people are participating and more people are not participating. So participation in it is an issue. The issue of I know people don't have trust in the system, but if you don't have trust in the system, staying away from it will not be the solution. You have to confront it and say, look, we must exercise our rights, whether or not it can, we'll see.
Let's quickly look at something that you can, just sum up together. INEC is coming out to say that we should not say that we are going to lose trust in them. However, it's not like that for Nigerians because Nigerians are fast losing trust in these people. Now, they came out to talk about the fact that because people mentioned that even the digital systems that they set in place, you have the beavers and then the other one, and then they are coming, and that's one, I remember that, in 2023, all these ones, they were experiencing glitches and all of that. If we think about, the good picture of it, we know that, okay, these things are going to actually help to make the voting process, the election process, much more effective, seamless, very easy. However, we are seeing that even with this, there is so much that is going on because sometimes this thing, they can't even account for it. And they are coming out to say that, oh, we shouldn't blame them, but we should rather blame the fact that maybe that particular system is not working. Maybe they are not able to, at that point in time, they were talking about things like system failure, system this, system that. But we should not also forget that these are people's, hopes, people's, what people are hoping for, their elections, their votes. They are trying to vote someone into power. So do you think that, these digital things that they've put in place, that it is still, rather than, it helping us to be trust in INEC, we are rather saying, the other side of it. Do you think that these digital technologies that they've put in place is actually going to help us 2027 coming?
Yeah, ordinarily, it should help us. Even before now, it should help us. But what we are seeing in our own system is it's not helping us. It's not helping us not because the system, the digital system is not good. it's not helping us because of what I said earlier on. Human factor. Those who are given the opportunity to enforce it and to implement it are the one making it. Yeah, this digital system we are talking about is computer. It's what we put into it that will give to you. Garbage in, garbage out. So if the people who are to operate it are compromised, there's nothing you can do in that regard. So that's why I said we need to have people of integrity and people who will be able to stand up and say, look, I want to do the right thing. That's the only thing you can get. If you like, go and bring whatever system, no matter how proofread, how quality that digital system is. If those in authority are not ready to follow it, you will see fail. You can imagine the excuse given in the last election. How can you have a system running three programs at the same time, and you now say two were successful? There was no glitch on one, and one was cut off because of glitch. So it shows that something happened, because we have the National Assembly election, House of Rep, Senate, and the presidency on the same day. There was nothing happened to the system regarding House of Rep and Senate. But the presidency, something happened, and they were being operated on the same system. Right. So what do you? So human factor is the problem we're having. Human factor, people. How do we get people of integrity? How do we people that will stand and say, look, I don't mind losing my job. I want to do the right thing. But what we see in Nigeria is that we see people want to take position. They do everything to retain that job, including compromise. Just like what happened in River State, when people will come and say, Fubara should have agreed with his master. He should have agreed. Agreeing says that what they are talking about is that he should have compromised. And then allow them to take whatever they want to take. So because they see it as his personal wala. So what we'll see here is that when you are in a position, you want to do whatever it takes to allow you to make you retain your position, including compromise. And that's what we are seeing today. And that's why I said, no matter what we put in place, as long as we have people who are not ready to play by the rules, who are not ready to say, look, I have a name, I have to protect it, we have to continue to have this lack of confidence. The confidence that we're talking about here is not for INEC to say it by word of mouth. It's by action.
That's right.
It's by us seeing what they have done. The last election that we have seen, even the off-circle election, they didn't bring back the confidence in us. They didn't bring back the confidence in us. They didn't do what some people expected. There are some complaints as well. So as long as that is happening, their confidence will be eroded. But like I said, sometimes it's a deliberate attempt to frustrate you people from running away from it, so that they'll be able to achieve their objectives. So I will urge Nigerians not to be discouraged by that lack of confidence. Let them put more pressure on them, put more effort, participate in the process, so that we'll be able to get better results. If you stay away from it and say, because we don't have confidence, then the politicians are happy. They are happy. They are enjoying the manipulation because they're not participating.
Okay, Barrister. Let's move away. Let's move towards the judiciary for a second, right? You know, many people have argued that credibility of elections doesn't just end with INEC, of course, but it ends with the court. Okay, so what do you think? How do you think the judiciary has either strengthened or weakened, you know, these electoral processes in the recent years?
Like I said earlier on, you know, I've talked about the role of judiciary in terms of interpretation provision of our law. I still have my disagreement with some of the positions with due respect. They are not helping our. If I say so, to me, I'm not satisfied with the way and manner things are being done. It appears they are not firm in their decision. You can see what happened in River State. You can see how switch they were able to, when the issue of whether those assembly members have left or not, or this and that were in court. You can see how switch they were in taking decision in those matters. But the issue of suspension of Subara, you can see the matter is still pending. Some of the interpretation of the decision of the court regarding electoral at the last election. For example, the position of the Supreme Court to the fact that if you are not a member of a party, if you are not a candidate, or that only those who participated in primary of the party can challenge the qualification of a candidate of another party. For me, my interpretation of that law or that portion of the law is not what Supreme Court said, because they are talking about the primary, not the main election. If the primary is conducted and you participate, you did not participate, yes, you may not be able to challenge based on our law. But if main election has been conducted, and the other party raise the issue, it should have the authority to challenge it. But the Supreme Court said no. That particular law, the interpretation of concern, applies only to primary of the parties, not to general election. But they adopt it and take it to general election. The issue of Abuja and it's like a state, those debates, what I'm trying to say is that sometimes the decision of the court, are conflicting and making it look like we don't even know where we stand. Sometimes it's unfortunate that I'm saying this. I don't have that too much confidence that they are doing well in terms of helping our. No, I'm saying this at my own detriment, at my peril.
I know that.
Because these are some of the issues. Some people will be prevented from being given opportunity of becoming this or becoming that. They will look at your statement before now. They say, yeah, this man is always criticizing us. So let's do this and that. If you apply for anything, they will say no. So, but I don't care. I don't care about that. I say my mind.
I'm glad you take that stance, because, like you rightly said, we need people who would want to protect, who are more interested in protecting their names rather than whatever handouts you're going to be getting. Anyway, we're going to go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll continue the conversation. Don't go anywhere. Right, welcome back. We're still talking about the credibility of INEC with 2027 elections in view. And we have Barrister Tunji with us, trying to dissect the whole conversation. So, Barrister, please, are you still with us? Barrister Tunji?
I am with you. I'm with you.
Oh, beautiful. All right.
Okay. So, Barrister, so there is something that I want us, away from everything that we have been discussing, is the issue of ghost voters. I mean, for a very long time now, since I've, gotten into this world and then I've known anything about voting, if there is one particular thing that is really, really prominent, is this thing called, ghost voting. They also call it piano voting, right? And we always have it. We always have it. Sometimes it feels like maybe it is even beyond the power of the INEC, because this particular ghost voting happens like every year. We had it in 2023. We had it in the election before 2023. And 2027 is right before us again, where people, I was looking at, a report in a particular location where that poll, the kind of votes that you're not supposed to even get a number.
You get it.
You just see what kind of number, and then they're coming up with 20,000, 30,000.
Right.
And then you're wondering that how many people are even in this community that you just go inside one community, far, and then you just bring up something. And then I'm wondering that how did you come about this? So we've been having this issue of ghost voting for way too long. And I think that in 2027, this is something that must really stop. But who should we now hold responsible? I mean, INEC is saying we should trust them. The INEC is saying we should trust them. The people that want to get into power are saying we should trust them. But who are we to even point fingers to? And how do we, unpick this thing? Because if INEC that is supposed to be an independent body, if they are not being independent about their affairs, so who exactly are we supposed to face as regards issues like this that keeps coming up every time?
There is no other person to blame apart from INEC in this regard. The major primary body to blame is INEC because they have the responsibility of conducting an election. So if there's anything that's wrong in the election, it should be their fault. It should be attributed to them. If you have glitches in anywhere, it's INEC that you blame. You don't blame those who built the system. You blame the INEC because they gave it to them. If you blame a voter register that is not complete, or people who are not registered, who you call ghost voters, who are voting, it should be INEC because by our law, before you can vote, you can be allowed to vote. You must be accredited, and it means that your name must be on the registered book, and you must have valid card for you to vote. So, and they must, when they use their beavers or whatever, they must confirm that you're actually the person. So if that is complied with, how will you get a ghost worker? So if there's no compromise from the INEC officers or INEC people, that will not happen. So that's why I say the primary blame will go to the INEC, and the secondary blame will go to the politicians and Nigerians. We also connive with them, we support it, and then we'll compromise in that regard as well. And we also blame our law. Our law is also another factor, because our law is a factor because the way our law is structured today is going to be it will be very easy for needle to enter the eyes of the camel than for a petition to challenge an election and win, because of the responsibility it placed on his head, and because they know that responsibility is enormous and may be difficult to prove, they do whatever they like and say go to court, knowing that you will not be able to get those things challenged or done. And most times, you can see people, when those decisions are taken in court, it's not about the proper thing that happened at the election. It's about how you present your case, how you do not present your case. Not about actually, and when the court declared that somebody is a winner, and the people come and say, my mandate has been confirmed, they've confirmed the mandate given to them by the people alive. Because most times, court don't determine whether or not you actually won the election. What they look at is whether or not what the issue is about your presentation before the court. Those who bring the case before the court, whether they comply with what the law says, or whether they are able to do what's required of them by law. The institution whereby the law requires a person who complains of irregularity, for example, in 1,000 polling units, the law requires you to bring at least 1,000 witnesses to come and testify before you, within a period of 60 days, 180 days, or how many days? Is that possible? And when you are not able to do that, they will say you are afraid that you are not able to bring evidence to support your case. So they know, the politicians know all this. They play on it and say, look, just take it, grab it, run away with it, and then let them go to court and challenge it and bring the evidence to support it. Okay. So as long as our laws place that responsibility on the petitioner and not on the INEC, the body should be on the INEC who conduct election to come and establish that he actually did the right thing. So if he's able to establish that by
yes, Barrister. So if we are actually saying that we should hold INEC responsible, if we're saying that, okay, we should face INEC, so who are the people that are going to, punish INEC? Because I am very interested in the person that I am going to face, exactly. Or what body, people are more interested in, okay, who are we now supposed to talk to when we see that, INEC are not being transparent with whatever it is that they are supposed to do to get done?
Yeah, it's a very hard question to answer because you see, INEC, even though it's a body and they are individual, they will say they've done their best in line with what they think is right. Those who are supposed to take action against them, investigate them, and see if there's any culpability on their part, those in government, and they are the ones that have been favored. So how do you expect them to do anything? Because for you to hold anybody responsible for committing any crime or for doing anything wrong, you must have evidence, and there are people. And when you have the evidence, and for you to get that evidence, that means you must do thorough investigation. So if nothing is done in that regard, you cannot hold anybody. When I say hold responsible here, I'm talking about assigning blames. Yeah. When you want to blame who's responsible, you blame INEC. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about we can also work at the civil society, Nigerians, can also raise up their voices and they protest and do a lot of asking of questions and raise issues. If that is done, but what we see in our country is that once the election is conducted and somebody has been declared, people will tell you, let's just leave it, let's just work against the next election. Let's move on, let's move forward, let's leave it. That is what we see. Unless some of people even give excuses and say, hey, after all, they are all human beings. They are prone to mistakes. So my saying hold out INEC responsible here means that the primary person to be blamed for any irregularity in an election or any should be INEC, not the political party. Not expecting the political party to come and establish that INEC did not do the right thing. It's for the INEC to come and show that I have done the right thing. But our law today places that burden on the petitioner, which makes it more difficult for him to even establish.
All right, Barrister. I mean, it's really sad that an independent, a supposed independent body still has the president appointing the person that would oversee the commission. It's still sad that President Tinubu had to also, okay, maybe not President Tinubu, any president at all shouldn't have that jurisdiction to appoint a chairman for that commission because the word is independent. Okay, so like you rightly said, Barrister, the person would, it's just like an unwritten law, right? Your loyalty now belongs to the person that brought you into power, right? Because, I mean, that's where the godfatherism thing springs up. But anyway, thank you, Barrister. That's all the time we have this morning. Thank you for joining us for this conversation. We hope to call you back next time, sir.
The law give it to the president. Even those who are not appointed by the president, were they not doing the same thing? Are they not paying loyalty to the president?
Barrister,
so that's why I say it's unfortunate.
Barrister,
yes,
thank you so much. That's all the time we have this morning. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So you see, as Goodluck Jonathan reminded us, credible elections are the lifeblood of democracy. And, without them, citizens lose the power to hold leaders accountable and underperformance goes unpunished. INEC now faces a crucial test ahead of 2027, which is, your credibility. And yes, technology can help. We have Beavers, we have IREV, and, to note the amount of money they pumped into those, let's not talk about it. You see, without transparency, accountability, integrity, trust will just remain broken, and Nigerians deserve proof that their votes actually count, because only then can democracy truly, truly thrive. Anyway, do ensure you subscribe to our YouTube channel at Official Upgrade TV. You can interact with us further, drop a comment, and most importantly, follow all our social media engagements. And remember to like, share, comment, and invite your friends and family to watch us and follow us. Have a wonderful day ahead. Have a great week, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.